The NBA season is upon us, and so is Pacers Craig. Although that would hurt if it actually literally were upon us, but never mind. Brunner here, Boyle, Denary. Pacers open the season Wednesday night in San Antonio, 2 roadies, and then home opener Saturday against Philadelphia. Don't miss it. Be there, or watch on TV, or listen on radio, or read on the internet, or do both while being on the internet.
We'll try to we'll blog in during.
You
the
can
game.
actually watch on TV. Sorry, Chris. Listen on
That's
the
fine.
radio,
That's fine.
and then do the blog on the web while you're there.
And we'll tweet.
Yeah. That's
Of
right.
course, everyone tweets.
Yeah.
How can you not tweet? It's almost federal law these days that you tweet. We're here to discuss our keys in terms of the Pacers season. Obviously, there are 2 overarching keys that are keys for every team. You need to be healthy, and you need to have good team chemistry. The Pacers haven't had a lot in terms of good health lately, so they're probably due there. And it looks like they've got pretty good team chemistry, so they may be good in that category. But we're talking about keys that are specific to the Pacers. Mark, what do you think are the biggest ones for this season?
Well, I think there are 2 keys, Conrad, and they involve 2 different players in no particular order. Can Darren Collison accept an expanded role? Is he ready for that in his second season? He was a backup in New Orleans last year. He's a starter. Much is counted on in terms of his development and his ability to contribute. And as part of that equation, can Jim O'Brien nurture his skills? That to me is an interesting and critical area. And number 2, will Danny Granger commit himself to playing both ends of the floor? Because if he does, I think he's got the potential to be an elite player, and it's something the Pacers need him to do. And if both of those things turn out in a positive direction, I think this season could be pretty exciting.
Chris?
Conrad, so many people talk about defense. That's a given. This team needs to play better defense. But I'll hit on 2 things. One would be rebounding. Can they make up for the loss of Troy Murphy? At times during the preseason, we saw this team rebound pretty decently. And it's not just Roy Hibbert or Josh McRoberts or Tyler Hansbrough, but it's got to be a collective. Danny Granger, Mike Dunleavy, the guards have to rebound. The other thing that I'll hit on is they've just got to shoot the ball better. If you look back at last year, when you shoot 43, 44%, it's very difficult to win, especially when you're not a good defensive team. So I would think that they've got to find a way, to be, in the middle of the pack offensively shooting the basketball because they were down near the bottom last year.
I think offensively, it's critical that they find ways to score beyond the 3-point shot. I think they've been so reliant upon that they tend to always lose the free throw game, and that's one of those critical unwritten statistics. If you're losing by 5, 10, 15 free throws made a night, you're really putting yourself in a hole. So I think having Roy Hibbert, if he's able to get established on the post, and if Collison and some of these other players are able to get inside, not just shoot the ball, but get inside defense, draw fouls, and get to the line, I think they really need to be able to get to the line offensively. And as an adjunct to that, there's a lot of rhythm that needs to be developed for this team offensively because a new point guard, Roy is an emerging force. Before he was not necessarily an afterthought, but they didn't play through him. Now they're going to play through him. He's going to be out there 30, 35 minutes a night, hopefully. And Darren's a new type of player at the point. So I think there are a lot of adjustments to make, bringing Mike Dunleavy back into the mix. How, will he be the old Mike? So I think there's a lot offensively. And let's face it, this is an offensive team. And the defense will play well if the offense plays well. And until it gets to the point where the defense fuels the offense, you're having a different problem. So to me, I think they've got to really build offensive fluidity and rhythm and really identity beyond the 3-point shot.
And I think one of the things that's going to help there, assuming that it goes in a positive direction with the things you just talked about, is they should be able to get to the free throw line more than they have because their style of play is discernibly different. They're going into the post more. They're trying to get to the rim a little bit more. Darren Collison can create and penetrate perhaps better than other point guards that have played here in the past. And those things tend to help you get to the foul line. Now, Roy took over 100 shots in the preseason and shot 43%, which is not going to get it done. But he's going to shoot better than that in the regular season. They have other teams, that is, committed to double teaming him more often than they have in the past. I think all of these things will create free throw opportunities, and that's something that we've talked about in great degree in last season's conversations on this program, and I think that'll be one of the things that'll be dramatically improved.
And where it is dramatically improved, and Mark has had the ability to see all the preseason games. I've just seen the home games and some online. Is is that 4 position is so different than what we've seen with Troy Murphy sitting there and really being the rebounder in the trail 3. Now you've got guys like McRoberts and Hansbrough that can run the floor, and as Mark said, they want to get to the basket, and when you try and get to the basket, you're going to be fouled, and you're going to get to the free throw line. Now Josh has not been a very good free throw shooter in his career, so you have to watch that. Hansbrough in college, good free throw shooter, didn't see him a lot last year, so where you want to get to the free throw line a lot, you have to convert.
Was it really to your benefit to see all of those preseason games?
It's to my benefit to be employed, and part of my employment is to see all of those games. So yes, it was to my benefit.
Flawless logic as usual by Boyle. So, we've got some key individuals. We've got some key collective team elements. We know what the worst case scenario is. We've kind of lived it here for the past few years. What's the best case scenario? Everything falls into place, or most things fall into place. They're healthy, they have good chemistry, the offense finds its identity, they're able to play at least passable defense and patch the holes on the board. What's the best case scenario?
Well, I think you need to be realistic. The best case scenario is not a run for a championship or anything like that, at least not this season. But I think if all of those things that we've talked about evolve in a positive nature, I don't see any reason that they couldn't contend for one of those playoff spots. I think that's a reasonable goal if all goes well.
Yeah, and I think the one thing they've got to take advantage of the early part of the season. There are a lot of home games in November, a lot of home games in December, and then as usual in the spring when the Big Ten tournament comes here to Conseco Fieldhouse, you're on the road a lot in March. So I think you got to take advantage of those home games and not get behind the 8 ball like this team has done in my 4 previous years doing the television. Is they always are struggling at the end of the year and then come up, 2 years ago a game shy of the playoffs, 3 years ago a game shy. I think it's going to be really important to get off to a decent start, and that starts at home.
So they've dug holes with Denarius.
Yeah, that's a
perhaps we've uncovered another key to this season.
Conrad, the new voice of the Pacers on Fox Sports.
In my time, the team has gotten to the NBA Finals.
Yeah, my time
Conference
too.
Finals multiple times. I don't believe you've been in the playoffs.
No, I have not.
All right, well, at least.
Wait, when I was the locker room reporter, we were in the playoffs. So.
Well, I believe that job is taken.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
so
I'm
sorry,
out.
Chris.
Yeah.
Again, I agree with everything you guys say that if everything goes right and all these things fall into place, it's really not realistic to talk about 50 wins, winning a division, all that sort of thing. You really have the top 3 teams in the East. Then you've got a really narrow margin between maybe the 5th spot and the 12th, 13th, 14th spot, as it really has been for the past several years. So the key is keep that margin narrow. Don't do things like you mentioned, fall into a hole that put the margin against you, injuries, things like that. So it's going to be close all year. It's going to be down the wire. It's going to be down the last few weeks, and provided everybody stays healthy and things all work out, we'll be able to do some playoff crates this year.
That would be good.
That'd be nice. I'd like to do that.
Me too.
And I'm sure you would love to see nothing more than an extended run of Pacers crate. In stereo.